Saints Arena, which is now finally quieted down a little bit, right? Except for these Zamboni dudes.
Yeah, a very emotional night here in Pittsburgh. Everything you kind of thought it would be, and a little bit more, with the Ryan Shazier showing up and standing during his own standing ovation. Really emotional night. Pretty cool. I'll never forget this one myself.
Yeah, when we go on long car rides as reporters, one of the fun things that we do is talk about, like, what was the best thing this you ever covered, the best thing that you ever covered. Well, this is up there. I know it was a regular season hockey game between two teams in opposite conferences and all that other stuff, but there just was so much more to it just as a Pittsburgher. Yeah,
I think if you for Marc-Andre Fleury to come back here, the ovation he got, I think it was about, 3.5 minutes, the entire TV timeout.
Amazing.
Really amazing. Deafening loud in here.
As you mentioned that, I'm reminded of the fact that the linesmen and the referees, and I'd say this.
Thank you. Tip of the cap to those guys.
Tip of the cap to the guys in stripes who take a lot of abuse. But that they had to be prepared for this. There was something a little bit extra that was going on. It wasn't just going to be one of those, tribute videos to Derek Pouliot or whatever. There was going to be something special. And they stepped out 2 or 3 times and just let the roars go on.
Yeah, a really good job by them. Good job by Sidney Crosby. Took a very slow turn to get to the face-off circle. And again, to the linesmen who let it go for a little bit longer. It was just an awesome sight here.
Yeah, and I tell you, Mike Sullivan made a point whenever it was brought up how Marc-Andre Fleury handled the evening. He made a point to mention Matt Murray as well. And I got to tell you, Chris, I didn't mention this to you upstairs, but I was watching Murray a lot during that sequence. And what he was doing was he was kind of tapping his stick and then looking around like he's trying to keep himself loose. Obviously, he has to. He's a pro. But he's also, congratulatory tapping his stick. But Sully made a good point. They both had to stay sharp.
Yeah, this is an emotional night for Matt Murray as well. It's very odd to go to a game where the other goalie is the center of attention. Murray, didn't have a great night by any means. I don't think either goalie played great. No. But, he did enough to win tonight.
Yeah, and you know what? So did the home team. Mm-hmm. And let's give it up for them, too, because the Penguins played half of this game down. I was about to say 2 forwards because 2 of them got hurt, Carter-Rowney and Tom Kuhnhackl, but Mike Sullivan made a decision to not use Dominic Simone. I would not want to be Dominic Simone tonight.
No, and they were already down Patrick Hornquist on top of that. They were looking for some energy guys. Dom Simone, obviously probably not the energy type, but you're losing guys like Carter-Rowney and Tom Kuhnhackl, guys who kind of bring it on every shift. They shortened the bench, and Dom Simone is sitting there on a bench by himself. They're down to 9 guys.
And the guys who did play, though, they got the job done. And that, to me, starts with 71, who's just unbelievable. And again, referring to a conversation with Fleury, he told me just Gino right now is just like this. He went, and he is.
Malkin was 5-game goal scoring streak. Tonight, him and Phil Kessel were reunited because of some of these the injuries that they've had. You see the chemistry that those guys have. I know Sullivan likes going with the 3 lines to balance out the scoring. At some point, you think, and they're going to get reunited at some point this season.
Did you happen to notice after Malkin's pass to Phil that he did this soccer style celebrating the assist? You never see that in hockey. He was so proud of the pass that he kind of skates by himself, and Phil's looking at him like, where are you going, man?
Those two are kind of the odd couple. Obviously they did a lot for the Penguins. Did a lot for the Penguins last spring. Again, if we'll see what happens at the trade deadline if they get a 3rd-line center, how that's going to shake things out. But at some point, you got to think Sullivan's got to put those guys back together.
You know what? He's not going to be easily sold on that. You know that. You know how he feels about spreading his superstars out. But at the same time, evidence is evidence,
Yeah, and it wasn't just the superstars tonight. Obviously Crosby and Malkin had their thing, and Kessel as well. You look at a guy like Ryan Reeves. Here's a guy who gets a bigger role because of these injuries. He scores a goal.
Ryan Reeves.
Who else I love? Ian Cole. Look at him. He's on an offensive tear here the last 5 games. A bunch of points for him. His trade value is going way up.
I got to tell you that one of the last things that Fleury said to me on the way out of the room was, you think Cole picked his spot? And I go, honestly, I think he did, and I think he's probably going to let you hear about it for a long time. The night belonged unconditionally to Marc-Andre Fleury, and here's what I asked him about his response to the crowd?
Yeah, just amazing. You know, that's the support I've gotten over the years here. It's been incredible, and I want to thank thank everybody for all these years, and once again showing up tonight with such great support.
Well, following this win tonight against the Vegas Knights, the Penguins hit the road, and you're going to be going out there to Dallas and St. Louis. Penguins haven't had a lot of luck lately on the road.
You know, they're due for it, though, because they're playing so well at home, and it's not just Malkin, although he's out of his mind in this building right now. I think the Penguins could use, believe it or not, a little bit of a trip, as well as they're playing here right now with these couple of injuries, and we'll see how long they hold people out, Rowney and Kuhnhackl, but to get a couple other guys involved, maybe, we'll see who it is that they bring up, but to get even more depth. And you know what else has to happen? I'm not going to be that guy that puts a negative thing on. Sid's got to pop that 400th. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's been, 8 games now without a goal.
This reminds me so much of, remember the 1,000th point thing where we just waited and waited and waited, and then Winnipeg comes to town and he puts one in on them off the pass from Chris Kunitz. And then after that, he went on like a little bit of a roll. Well, it's getting there, isn't it?
Yeah, and, it's an opportunity for a lot of guys. We mentioned Crosby. He's going to get it. He's going to get it.
Well, yeah. He's going to get it.
But, I'm looking for a guy like Zach Aston-Reese. He came up in the New Jersey game. He's one of those 9 guys who was playing tonight, so I look for him maybe to get a bigger role here.
That's a good way of looking at it.